Woo! Great morning, you guys. Fired up. It's a new week. Happy Monday. It's going to be a great week. I'm really excited because Mondays always get me fired up because it's a new opportunity to start fresh, create new, and be whatever you want to be. And it starts with, number one, setting the intention of that through motivation, inspiration, and positive ideas. So today, we got a great video for you. This is a guy named Bishop T.D. Jakes. If you never heard of him, super fired up. I'm excited because actually we're in LA. He's going to be at a church here in LA next Saturday, One Church LA. So I'm excited. I've never heard him in person. Get to hear him in person. You're going to hear top 10 rules for success from Bishop T.D. Jakes. And trust me, he's going to drop some fire on you. So get your notebook ready. If you're at work and can't share live, no problem. Put it in the chat thread and go ahead and throw in the chat thread where you're from. Name and where you're from so we can see where you're from. And if you're watching or recording, no problem. Take this and share it with somebody. We're all going to share it because this is like a vessel. You learn it when you teach it. So each one teach one. So you ready to share at the end? I'm going to be calling on some of you guys. Even if you didn't write anything down, I'm going to just say, hey, share it off the top of your head. I love those. Those are actually probably my best shares. So without further ado, Triple M Monday Morning Motivation, Bishop T.D. Jakes. Let's get it.
To act outwardly on what you see inwardly? Or will you die a dreamer? Will you die on the verge and on the edge and in the land of coulda, woulda, and shoulda? The strong hen rules the roost. Do you have the courage? I'm going to drop something on you. It takes courage to be successful. It is far easier not to be successful. Misery will always have company. Success breeds contempt. If you don't want to make waves, be mediocre. Be normal and fit in. And if you're more concerned about people than you are God, then neutralize everything he put in you. Just fit in with everybody else. Dress like them, walk like them, act like them, eat like them, go where they go, think like they think, do what they do. And once you've neutralized your uniqueness, you don't need courage. It takes courage to be different. It takes courage to go where you've never gone before. For some of you, it took courage to come to this conference. It takes courage to get you outside of the bar. It takes courage to be successful. It takes courage to win. People don't talk about people that don't win. If you win, they're going to talk about you. Do you have the courage to stand there though the storms keep raging and the people get to talking and you stand there and say, I've come too far to turn around? Touch your girlfriend and say, do you have the courage? I'm going to say something to you. It takes courage to be exceptional. It takes courage to be wise. It takes courage to be rich. It takes courage to be educated. It takes courage to be knowledgeable. Because the moment you do, but you don't talk like you forgot where you came from. Look at you talking. It takes courage. And I'm just wondering, in this weak, watered down, mediocre society that we live in today, in this reality TV world we live in today, I'm wondering if there's anybody left that's got the courage to say, after all I've been through and all my ancestors have been through and all my parents have been through, I didn't come through all of that just to fit in with normalcy. I have the courage to go after my dream. To be anxious is to have anxiety about something that hadn't even happened yet. Some of you are so worried by the threat of trouble. You're not in trouble, it's just that trouble has threatened you. And the threat of what might happen, what could happen, is wearing you down. Half of the things that you thought were going to happen never did happen. But if you allow those thoughts to dwell in your mind, it will succeed at robbing you of your peace, robbing you of your joy, robbing you of your life, just because you thought yourself into a nervous breakdown. You thought yourself into depression. You thought yourself into defeatism. The mind is the battleground. The fight is in your mind. So I want to challenge you to waste no more effort wrestling with other people. Oh, I lost you. I lost you. You were doing real good. I lost you. Your destiny, your future is not predicated on the decision of someone else. You wasted too much of your life trying to change other people's mind about you. It doesn't matter what they think about you. God is not going to bless you by their opinion. God is going to bless you by how you see yourself. Touch somebody and say, I believe I'm coming out. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know what I'm going to have to go through. I don't know what I'm going to lose along the way, but I still believe that I'm coming out. I've been broke, I've been busted and disgusted, but I still believe that I'm coming out. I'm locked up in prison. They say I'll never get out, but I still believe that I'm coming out. I'm coming out if I don't have nowhere to stay. I'm coming out if my husband married somebody else. I'm coming out if I don't have no job. I'm coming out.
The people who became the most successful in our society are people who broke the rules. You know, there was no presidents for 24-hour news cycles until Ted Turner did it. There's so many people who got out of the box. Look at Apple and the birth of the whole notion of Apple, or Nike. I talk about in the book, and the birthing of that corporation, how they did something with the tennis shoe that had never been done before. If you only base your decisions on empirical data, you can only repeat what somebody else already did. If you follow your instincts and your own God-given creativity, we can go where we have not been before.
Be strong and very courageous. Be strong and very courageous. Be strong and be of good courage. Be strong and possess the land. Because God knows that for what you're going to do, it is not by outer strength. You understand? You understand. See, help me preach this thing this morning, girl. It's inner strength. So my fourth point is you got to have inner strength for this fight. It's not your outer strength. It's not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. So you got to have that gut strength, that belly strength, that devil-defying come hell or high water strength, that roll me out in front of them and I'll preach from a chair strength, that tenacity to take a licking and keep on ticking, that inner strength that when I can't do as I would, I'm going to do as I can, but I'm not going to stop doing. To the best of my ability, I'm going to stretch and go. Hallelujah! Be strong! Strong.
I am afraid that too many times we have put so much focus on teaching you to be good seed that we haven't taught you the power of good soil. And so when we come to soil issues, the seed ignores the soil. We flick the channel. That has nothing to do with me. We close our eyes because we have been taught to be good seed, but we have not been taught to pay attention to soil. And yet the Bible is clear. Jesus says the sower went forth sowing seed. And some fell by the wayside. Some fell amongst rocks. Some fell amongst thorns. The whole text is about environment. Look at you and look at your environment. Have you been positioned to flourish? Positioning has a lot to do with flourishing. to be in an environment, in a family that supports you. My sister and I were talking the other day. I was telling her what an amazing person she is, that all of our lives together and all the things that God did in my life, not once in all of the years that I've known her, and she was there when Mama had me, have I ever known her to be jealous of me. Not once, not ever. She has always been my cheerleader and my greatest fan. And she said, how could I be jealous of you? You're my brother. I said, a lot of people have siblings that hate them, that are jealous of them, that hope they choke. And some of my development has to be that God planted me in an environment of people that supported me. My brother, my sister, my mother, my father, they all supported me. You can have good seed, but if you've been in bad soil, people who hated you, environments that denied you, education that underserved you, communities that limited you, mentalities that poisoned you. Oh, do you hear what I'm saying? If your soil wasn't right, it doesn't mean that you're not right, but if your soil wasn't right, it's going to affect how you root and how you grow. And you might grow a little bit. The Bible says you can grow for a while, but then the thorns will choke you out, or the rocks will not have enough soil for your roots to grow. Are you blaming God for something you ought to be blaming the soil for? You cannot take a peach seed and plant it in a teaspoon of dirt and expect it to grow. Though the teaspoon of the dirt is the same size as the peach seed, it will not grow. The seed will only grow when it is planted in something bigger than itself. And I want to know, where are you planted this morning? Are you planted in something bigger than you? Or have you always been planted in teacups, surrounded by little dirt, little resources, small-minded people, narrow, limited places that never let you stretch to reach your capacity? Sometimes you gotta go where the corn is.
You call comfort in your book a cage.
Comfort in the cage. We used to be pioneers. That's how the country was settled. And we stopped pioneering new things. We stay where it's comfortable. We play where it's safe. We don't really get out into the wild of the possibilities. We stay in the confined cage of that is tangible and touchable, 9 to 5, and that's it. But we need more creativity, and we need to follow our instincts. Now, without that, you may make some money, but you won't find fulfillment. Always go to something bigger than yourself. I'm wondering if you've been defeated because you have been giving yourself wholly to something that was too small to hold you. Have you thrust yourself into a glass of water?
Yes, sir.
Have you leaped off the diving board into a cereal bowl person? Are you not guilty of immersing yourself into things that were too small to hold your vision? Oh my God, this is so good, I'm gonna get the CD myself. Jesus sent him to throw himself into something that was bigger than his condition. And he had to go to get to it. He had to get out of his comfort zone. My problem is, so many times you've thrown big ideas at small people. You've given big commitment to cereal bowl people. And you're trying to get your sight back from a source that's too small to support what you're willing to put in. Is your investment bigger than the bank? You should see the way you're looking at me. Is the reason you keep being disappointed by people is that you have wholly thrown yourself into something that was too small. Jesus sends him to something that is bigger than himself so he can wash his eye. Are you trying to take a bath in a bowl? David was a shepherd boy out there trying to take care of the sheep and didn't have nothing to work with. And a lion came against him and he took a rag and said, this is the kind of stuff you make to fight back with when you don't have nothing to fight with. Have you ever gotten to a fight and you didn't have nothing to fight with, but you took what you had and you said, such as I have, I'm not gonna let you take my stuff, my job, my opportunity, my life, my family's legacy. You after my family's legacy, I'm not gonna let you do it. And even though I don't have nothing fancy to fight with, like a degree or like $1 million or like a bunch of friends, but I'm gonna roll up what I got and I'm gonna throw it at you. You kill the lion and kill the bear with this rag. This rag, old dirty rag, had thrown rocks at everything that ever come against you. If you live long enough, a lot of stuff will come against you. And you gotta throw what you got at it. You can't throw what you wish you had. You can't throw what your neighbor had. You gotta throw what you got at it. That's what separates the men from the boys, because you gotta throw what you got at it. If you don't tell me that you want something if you're not willing to throw what you got at it. Since we're talking about business, we're talking about money, you can't be tribal and be a global thinker at the same time. The reason money is called currency is that it needs to be able to flow. And the issue is, do you have a vision that flows beyond people who look like you, dress like you, and vote like you? And if you're going to do business, you can't do segregated business and do it well. If you've got a product that you believe in, or a message that you believe in, or a movie that you believe in, or whatever it is, you want to reach the broadest amount of people. And most people think tribally. All of their relationships, their contacts, their associates are tribal, and you block the ability to succeed when you block the ability to communicate beyond your tribe. Life demands that you pick up the pace. If you don't pick up the pace, you're going to be left behind. I'm amazed at the people that lack the flexibility to pick up the pace. They just get in a rut. I stroll down here and I'm gonna stroll back. I'm gonna stroll over here. I'm gonna stroll over there. One of the most amazing things about the disaster at Malaysia is that when it happened, everybody had to pick up the pace. All the news media had to pick up the pace. They were booking night flights and flying over here and flying over there. Somebody had to work overtime, won't be home for 3 days, typing in the middle of the night, research going on, because when something happens, everybody got to pick up the pace. That's why I can't deal with people who cannot pick up the pace. Don't be strolling when I got a 911 on you. I need people who can pick up the pace. Slap your neighbor and say, pick up the pace. Something is about to happen. Pick up the pace. Something is about to happen. Pick up the pace. Something is about to happen.
All right, great stuff, man. Bishop dropped some nuggets on us. So fired up. I'm going to give you guys a few takeaways, then we're going to have Freddie over here give us some live takeaways. Then I see a bunch of people in the chat. What's up, you guys? Texas, Minneapolis, IE, let's get it. So number one, you got to have courage. It takes courage to be different and unique. He said people don't talk about people that don't win. And you got to understand that if people are not agreeing with what you're doing, if people have opinions about what you're doing, if people have negative things to say about what you're doing, it's probably because you took a position on something. Now, the easiest way to never grow is to never take a position or to never do anything that people could stand against, because then you'll be wishy-washy. You'll go this way, you'll go that way. But that takes no courage. It takes no courage to just agree with whatever happens. It takes no courage to do whatever is just popular or easy or accepted at the time. It takes no courage. But if you want to achieve your greatness, there's going to be times where you're going to have to go on the path alone. Like there's been times in my life where my friends were going in a certain direction you know, my parents were trying to push me in a certain direction, or even the culture was pushing me in a certain direction. I said, you know what, I can either do what my parents, my friends, or my culture want me to do, or I can do what I want me to do. But they're not always going to align. It's not always going to be a perfect, oh man, they say it, she said it, he said it, and I say it. Sometimes you're going to be the only person that says, you know what, all that stuff isn't for me. Like for me, once I got done with college, grad school, and had my profession, and I found myself working all day, the culture told me I should be happy because I had money. The culture told me I should be happy because I had a career that was stable. The culture and everybody told me that that was what everybody wants and what we should all aspire to. But deep down in my heart, I knew that for me, having 30 minutes to myself at the end of the night wasn't the life I wanted for me. Being in a you know, indoors all day by artificial light where everybody else is outside wasn't the life I wanted for me. And sometimes you're going to have to listen to that inside voice even when all the outside voices are in opposite direction to that. And that's going to take courage because it's easy. It's like, you know, if there's a fire or something going on and everybody's running one way, it might be hard to run the other way because you're thinking everybody knows better than you do. We have a tendency as humans, it's called a bias, to think that other people's opinions are better than ours. When you got to realize everybody is just trying to figure this out just like you. Everybody is trying to figure this out just like you. So just because they have an opinion doesn't mean it's the right opinion. It's just a opinion. Like Roxy and I, we're about to move out of our apartment. We're going to a new place. We're upgrading all these things. And now we got all the opinions from our family members. Y'all should do this. You shouldn't do that. Y'all should do this. I'm like, have y'all done this? And they're like, no. I'm like, then what you telling me about it for? So you got to realize just because people have opinions doesn't mean they have the right opinion for you. Now, if we knew somebody that was upgrading to the lifestyle we want, had already done it, and they were giving us advice, maybe we want to listen to it. Now, if it's a firefighter running and he's got his fire suit on and he's been through all this fire training and he's running a certain way, guess what? He's probably going to tell you to go the opposite way to him, right? Because he has the experience. So you got to have that courage to understand. Ty Lopez says, don't listen to everybody. Take a few people and listen to them for every word they say because they're the experts. But don't listen to everybody. And it's going to take courage to not listen to everybody because you're going to look crazy. But if you're more concerned about how you look versus how you are, then you're going to be unsuccessful. So that was number one. Number two, change your mindset. You wasted too much of your life trying to change what other people think about you. Like as human beings, we have a need to be liked. Why? Because when we were evolving, if you got kicked out by the tribe, you probably died. You couldn't survive out there by your own because there wasn't a convenience store on the corner to sell you water and bread and milk, and don't drink milk, but all that other stuff, because you would die in the wilderness by yourself. But now we still have that programmed into us to where if people don't like us, we have an issue with it. And sometimes I found myself even doing this in the past. Well, I got to become who they would like me for, and I can't ruffle any feathers because I don't want to be by myself. I moved around a lot as a kid because I was a military kid for a good portion of my life. So I would always have to make new friends, and I'd always have to find a way to get a new friend and meet new people because I would move from this school to this school or this place to that place. And then when I changed schools, none of my friends from the last school came with me to this school, so I'd have to start all over again. And I had to learn how to be on my own and be me and be okay with that. And I feel like if you spend your whole life trying to make everybody like you or be happy with you, you're going to end up becoming somebody they like but that you don't like. And at the end of the day, if that's what you want more than anything, you'll get it. But there was one thing he said that was really powerful. He said, it's inside of your comfort zone, which is making people like you. He said, you may make some money like that, but you'll never be fulfilled. And that was really powerful for me because just because you make money, just because you're liked, or just because people say good things about you and approve of what you're doing doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be happy or fulfilled. Why? Because if your inner voice, if your inner uniqueness, if who you are at the core of you has to be changed just to make people like you, then you're never going to be happy with yourself. Your inner conversation is always going to be chaos because inside you're always going to be telling yourself the core of you is not going to align with what you're telling people, what you're doing with people, or what you're acting like with people. So you got to be willing to be okay with everybody not liking you and not try to make that your goal. I'll tell you, the biggest goal is make you like you. Make you like you. If you can't spend some time by yourself, if you don't like to be alone, if you don't like to spend time just thinking about what's going on in your head and reflecting, there's probably something going on with your relationship with you. I know a lot of people when I was growing up, they couldn't be alone, or they couldn't stop texting, or they couldn't stop calling, or they couldn't stop. They had to always be around somebody, and that's because they didn't like to be with themselves. And I was that person at one time. I had to have music on. I had to have the TV on. I had to be around somebody. I had to be watching something. I couldn't just be alone, quiet, and with myself. It's because at the end of the day, I wasn't liking who I was and who I was becoming because I was trying to fit in. I thought I had to be this person. I thought I had to be like that. I thought I had to act like this. And that led me to being liked by everybody but myself. And that wasn't a fun place to be because happiness and fulfillment and popularity are not always in alignment with the same thing. You know what I'm going to tell you is the true thing? Usually they're not aligned at first, but if you stay true to who you are, over time they will align because people will appreciate you for being authentic. But it takes time for them to see. And then the last one is you got to run after your destiny. People be walking. People think they got all the time in the world. Like you got until you 100, like everybody's promised 100 years old. You guys, I think somebody close to you has to pass away for you to really understand that people don't have all day. But yo, you don't got all day. Not to mention, you're not going to be 25, 30, 35, 40 forever. This is the youngest you're ever going to be. Right now is the youngest you're ever going to be. You're not going to always look this good. You're not always going to have the energy. If you don't got kids, you're not always going to have kids. If you got kids at this age, you're not always going to have kids at this age. You got to run after. I be seeing people chilling through life. I'm like, you can't achieve in life on chill mode. They be like, Aubrey, calm down and chill. I'm like, hell no, I don't want to chill. Chill ain't going to get me where I'm trying to go. So he said you got to run after your destiny. That was really powerful. No walking over here. Freddie, drop some nuggets on us. What you got? Give us a nugget or two.
Well, just going after what you just said, one of the things that hit home is not how what I put down was you make some money, but you will never find the fulfillment. And that right there, it hit home because I was pretty much in a position where I was currently at this job where I was being pressured. It was sales, but it wasn't like it was very good pay to the point where I wasn't leaving because I was in my comfort zone. But then once I reached I wasn't seeing the fulfillment, I was able to snap out of it and not follow the crowd, which is another nugget that he also dropped. Successful people break the rules, meaning that if you follow what's already been done, that's as far as you're going to go. But if you actually take that leap of faith and grow your wings on the way down, then you're going to actually be able to get somewhere where you've never been before and create something and a possible for those that believe in you. Another thing that I could also say is, don't tell me what you want if you're not able to throw it all you got. And even myself, I've been a victim for it. As far as my mentors, I've reached out to Roxy and Aubrey several times before this. And I've also flaked, meaning that I want it, but I wasn't throwing it my all. Just understand that if you throw it your all, you're going to be able to reach that level that you want to achieve, especially once again, if you break the rules.
Let's get it. Love it. Awesome. Epic nuggets. Let's get it. All right, let's get one or two takeaways. Give me a thumbs up or a smile, or just look at me, or look away like you don't want to share. Those are my favorite shares to get. Let's get Rigo. Hey, Rigo, hit us with some nuggets. Give us your biggest takeaway.
Oh, I am unmuted now. No, you're unmuted.
Hey, what's up? You hear us? Hit us with one nugget, your biggest takeaway.
Us?
Yeah, you. We're looking at you right now.
Hi. We're Olga and Brian Schnurr. We're from Houston, Texas. Thank you, Selena, for inviting us to this call. What I got out of, one of the biggest nuggets that I got that really hit me was the seed will only grow if planted in soil greater than itself. And oh my gosh, I like all that he was saying about, have you been diving in a bowl? Have you been diving in a cup? That's true. That's how I've been looking at it. And that's what was going on before. And now I'm trying to expand more. I'm being a little bit more open in my my posts, a little bit more, I guess, not afraid to step out and do something, different than just, being closed off, or being more authentic as well. And then two, there was have you been positioned to flourish? Well, I have a lot of family members that really haven't been supportive, especially my mother. And that really hits home because, that's your mother. She's the one that's supposed to help you flourish and bloom. And I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. So it really opened my eyes that, expand your soil, which means your friends, the relationships you make, because, the soil that you might have been planted in is not going to be working for you always. So, you're not a tree, right? So move yourself. Don't just get planted in that, I guess, initial soil that you were brought up in. So that's what I got at.
Let's get it. Brian, you got something for us? Thank you guys for sharing. What you got for us? Give us one nugget.
Yeah, well, something that you were talking about that kind of that really assimilated with me was the fact that when you talked about firefighters, I love to tell people that I'm a firefighter because I like to do things, or in my job line, I do things that nobody else is going to do. So one of the things that you said about, just like firefighters, how, when they're going in and everybody else is coming out, they have that experience to go in. They have what it takes to know exactly where the dangers are, what they can do, what they can't. So, in starting this business out, my wife started out before, and then, I jumped on later on. In doing this business, I started to kind of really see that you can't just go in waiting for something to happen. If you're going to go in with strength, go in with courage, go in knowing that you're going to have that information ready, and you're hard charging inside. When everybody else is coming out, when everybody else doesn't want to see the business, they don't want to see the vision, you need to jump in there and take advantage of all those different nuggets you're getting, all these calls, all these, all these little things that people are giving you, and go into hard charging, because that's the only way that you're going to be successful in not only Herbalife, but in life in general. So that's what I got. Man, I appreciate you saying that too, man. Thank you.
You got it, man. Thank you for your service. Man, Brittany, Brian, and Olga killed it. Shout out to Houston. Always love them plugging in. You guys, epic nuggets today. Don't leave this with you. You got to pay it forward, whether you repost a flyer, repost a picture of TD Jakes, repost a picture of yourself, share a nugget. I'm going to post a recording. Every Monday we're here, you guys. And I'm going to leave you guys with one last tip for all my Herbalife members and distributors and anybody in any kind of career. This is the last thing to take from that. You want to get around the soil of the top 10%. Brian Tracy talks about top 10% of your field is where all the rewards are. So this is a crucial thing to know about Herbalife, to know about any business or career. Get around the top 10%. So in Herbalife, these are the people qualifying for VIP and moving up the marketing plan. These are the people that are top producing in your field. Why? Even if you're not there yet, you got to get around them. Why? Because there's things they do, there's things they say, and there's ways they are that you may not know yet that are the whole reason why they're successful. And it's going to be uncomfortable at first. Remember, when the seed gets planted in the new soil that's big, it's uncomfortable. It had all its roots in the old soil. It had all its growth in the old soil. It's got to uproot and literally move. But guess what? When the soil gets bigger and the soil is rich, meaning the top 10%, the opportunity for growth is so much bigger. So get around those people, because guess what? Herbalife distributors, if you're around the people that don't qualify for VIP, don't qualify for top level trainings, don't qualify for vacations, don't qualify for moving up the marketing plan, then guess what? The conversations are going to be easy. The conversation is going to be, oh, you coming to SCS? It's not, are you coming to Success Training Seminar? Are you going to the next event? It's how many people are you bringing? It's not, oh man, how's your results doing? It's no, how many people did you help get results this month? Because as coaches, we got to lead the way. So upgrade your level of conversation, upgrade the people you're around, because they will upgrade you as well, even if it's uncomfortable. Even if it's uncomfortable. And as mentors, as we are leaders, we get to grab people and bring them along with us. Nobody told us to do Triple M, you guys. Nobody said, hey, corporate didn't say, Aubrey and Roxy, you guys should do a Triple M Monday morning. No, it's something we wanted to start for our team. Then we started it for our clients. Then we opened it up to all of Herbalife. Then we opened it up to all the world. Why? We wanted to reach and bring people with us, because as you reach and bring people, the universe will open up more for you. So how are you reaching and bringing people with you as leaders? That's it. Let's get it. I'm going to take everybody off mute. Let's get some energy. Where y'all at? It's time